Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Yes, huge achievement. I dug myself a hole. Before I actually tell you what it is that we're going to do over here, we have an issue. Flight. The range on the environmental controller that we have is 100 blocks, so it cannot cover the entire base. And yeah, I know, it's hard to believe, but the base is actually more than 100 blocks. It can't even cover me over there, so it's garbage. There are different methods that we can use for flight. Of course, one of them was the environmental controller. The easiest one is going to be the rendingale, but you already know the answer. We're going to go with the third option. There is a ritual of flight which has a decent range and it gives you flight for I think around 1 or 2 minutes, so that's a decent number. I can live with that. The only problem is it does require source, so we need to make a different type of source relay called the warper. And here's the problem. We need chorus fruit. I was going to say it's something that we don't have. We have 9 chorus fruit. Why? I don't really know, but it's okay. Let's do something else. I really don't want to wait for them to grow. Let us get an alchemy table. I don't know where we left our philosopher's stone, but apparently we start there. Alchemy table. Oh, finally, a quest. So I don't really know how it works, but that's it, right? Yeah? To be honest with you, we are doing all of this because I want to know how it works. Provided by energy collectors. Here is an energy collector. Do your thing. Goodie. I just wanted to mention that it seems growing them is faster. I think by the time that I get flight, the alchemy table is also going to be done. The range on the relays from Ars Nouveau is around, I think, 16 blocks, which is nice, but not good enough. So what you need to do is that you need to have a warper, and it's not very complicated. You just link it to another warper. Like so. These guys have infinite range, but they're not very efficient. They will lose source, which is really not a big deal. We never had problems with source, which means all we have to do is to have a ritual brazier and we just activate the ritual. So if I remove you, do we have flight? The range obviously is not that great, but we can have a ton of these guys. Also, I'm not a fan of the particle effects. Let me fix it. Okay, now that we have flight, I can explain to you what the hell is it that we want to do in this room. We want to convert this hall into the hall of crystals. You know, we just spam them like this and pray to all the dark lords that this is gonna look nice. Which I don't think it's going to be. That's too green. But we will see. It does require a bit of details, but I thought this is fun. And apparently you need a bajillion. One thing that would help you with making such a cave is building skills. Something that I don't have, so yeah. Let us see how it will turn out. So what do we think? Too bad. That's the limit of my building skills. I can add a bit more details, but yeah. That's it. Of course, this is mainly going to be a hub which is going to lead to other places like this for different things. For example, for Botania and blood magic. Therefore, we will have time to work on the details. But I know what you're thinking. Yes, bees are annoying. Go to hell. No, that's not what you're thinking. What you're thinking is that, Lush, this is never ever going to be enough. And I do agree with you. It's never going to be enough. But we're not garbage people. We just make garbage buildings. So we need to cover for the actual farms. And the actual farm itself is down here. You see? Row of emerald blocks. And at the end of the tunnel, we do have a builder, which is on a loop. And also this stupid thing has to be bigger because so far we only have 45 crystals, which is nothing. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to take out the filter, but I changed it. So now it's the cluster itself. The other things are just blacklisted. I have not seen your feedback on the previous episode because I think it's scheduled for tomorrow. And I don't know if this is the best way or not. This is what I came up with. Obviously without tick acceleration, which I also don't even know if it works on these guys. Maybe it does. It's not something that I want to test anyways. Oh, and by the way, is my chorus fruit ready? Oh, thank you. Useless thing. So moving on, what is the rest of the plan? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're gonna do something which I really hate the most. I don't hate it, it's just that I have to do it over and over again. Yes, mechanism. I thought the sooner that we start getting some polonium, the happier I'm going to be. Also, I didn't check. Is this like in a chunk? Oh, we don't have the chunk mod, so F3G? Yeah, it's in the middle of the chunk, but it's fine. We put it on a side or something. Okay, I do have a feeling this room should be sufficient for what we want to do, but worst comes to worst, we can expand it. We have plenty of space everywhere. But what are some of the things that we want? Obviously, we want some lithium, you know, because lithium is used in the induction cells, and I need induction cells in order to make the MekaSuit. We don't have to, but at least that's going to be my reward for getting polonium. Then we're going to need fissile fuel, so one of the things that we need is sulfuric acid. Holy, didn't know you'd do that. Okay, I try to remember it, that's too big. Also sulfuric acid, is my favorite type of acid. Then we're going to need the fissile fuel itself. I'll try to remember it. Thank you. You don't have to be that big. Some polonium, HDPE, which does have an EMC, so we just need to get the one. Well, actually just one HDPE pellet. And I don't really mind getting my hand on some antimatter. You know, we can have creative flight, we can have QIO, and, well, all the good stuff. So where do we start? I think the best place to start is going to be HDPE itself. Kelp has EMC. Why do I have it there? And besides, it's a decorative block, who cares? So give me a few PRCs. We're gonna need them anyways. We should get some biofuel. And I guess another thing that we need is tanks. I do have the alloys from Mechanism on auto crafting, but since we need a bunch at this very moment, let us use EMC. Very good. We should be able to give me some tanks. Another very important thing that I'm always lazy to craft is the electrolytic separator. Yes, this is after all the mods 8. I realized it is the electrolytic separator. Really? Oxygen? I thought I need hydrogen. I need oxygen. Okay. I need to learn. We do not have an infinite source of water, but I did make myself an Evertide amulet. Can I cheat and put it here? Wait a minute. What? I wanted to right click. Okay, first off, I'm not your dog. Secondly, this is a great discovery. And finally, oxygen is that way. And yes, I do understand you can configure them. I'm old. Back in my days, thermal expansion was a revolutionary mod. You had to use a redstone engine on a buildcraft pipe and yeah, give me back the water and yeah, that's not gonna work. Maybe a tank? So wait a minute, my plan was to make like 200 pumps for the reactor. If this works, this is crazy. I told you I need hydrogen. You jerk. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, we do get substrate, we get ethylene, but this ethylene is a gas, so we need to convert it into a liquid. Therefore, I think what we should be able to do is to have a rotary condensator, give you some power, the gas, and I think you're facing the incorrect way, but that's fine. Yeah, ethylene goes in and give me 1 HDPE. Oh, you don't have power. That's it basically. That's our HDPE. We just make some sheets, copy them again, and that should be more than enough. The rest of the garbage we don't really need. That takes care of HDPE, now we need lithium. So things that we all know. A thermal evaporation tower is a multi-block from Mechanism which can be 18 blocks tall and it has to be 4x4. It can be 18 blocks tall, but we don't really need it to be that high. So I have absolutely no idea how high this is, but this should be more than enough for us. We just give you a controller, and you should be fine. Good. So of course, as usual, one of these guys is going to be for Brian, the fluid, and one of them is going to be for lithium. And since we have discovered how to cheat, can we do something like this? We can't cheat? I was a bit confused, but if you use the Evertide amulet, you have to put it on empty, because otherwise it's going to empty the tank. That is always good to know. So water inside the first thermal evaporation tower is going to give us Brian, the fluid. And do you know why we're not getting that? Because it's not hot enough. So obviously what we need is a resistive heater, which can go on top of another valve, not like that, yes, some power, and we put you to 1500 RF per tick. And now we're getting Brian, the fluid. Obviously Brian the fluid has to be extracted from the first thermal evaporation tower, and we have to insert it into the second one. Hopefully like so, yes, good. The second thermal evaporation tower is also going to require heat, so we give you a resistive heater, some power, very good. And now we should get lithium. However, as usual, this is not the lithium that we want. We need to convert it into a gas. So we extract, go in a rotary condensator, that is ethylene. I'm lazy to make a gauge dropper. I'm sorry. We just order a new one, it's cheap. But very good. We're getting actual lithium. That actual lithium has to go inside a chemical crystallizer. Do we have fluorite? How do you write fluorite? Ooh, that's not really good. There is no way in the world that we don't have fluorite. You get it from something. Yeah, we actually don't have a single one. Okay, we can have a few pieces of sand. Ooh, I dismantled this. I'll fix it, don't you worry. You know, when I say there is absolutely no way that we don't have fluorite, yeah, we have some. I was sure, I was mining. Anyways, moving on, here is a crystallizer, and that should give us lithium dust. That's it, which goes in an ender chest. Does it? Yes, some upgrades from Mechanism is not going to be the worst idea ever. Yeah, much better. You, my dearest friend, you're also off the list. Moving on, now we need to start working on the fissile fuel itself. You don't have to do that every 5 minutes. I have been working on the fissile fuel and we have advanced until sulfuric acid. Did I mention that is my favorite type of acid? I know I did. I just wanted to remind you. It's actually one of the easiest things to get. You're only going to need a chemical oxidizer with some sulfur that will give you sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide has to go inside a chemical infuser with oxygen that will give you sulfur trioxide, and this is why the quest book was lying to us. Because this is why you need oxygen. You know, I realized this is the questing part. Anyways, if you mix the sulfur trioxide with some water vapor inside the chemical infuser, you get this. the most beautiful acid. But are we done? No, not really. Also, I realized I made the room too big, and this is why we have fancy cabling. And by fancy, I mean we're going to have a huge structure, that's it. So, chemical dissolution chambers. I was hoping you're going to accept sulfuric acid, but that's fine. Oh, that's items. We just have one input and that will be from the back. Gases are going to be like this. I have also made myself a configuration card so we would be able to copy and paste. It's just a matter of, yeah, I copied the wrong one. We do this again. Yeah, now it's the correct one. Apparently there is a new recipe in mechanism using fluorite blocks. That should be much more efficient. If we mix the sulfuric acid, where is it? Oh, the machines are not upgraded, so they're very slow. But if we give it a block of fluorite, voila, hydrofluoric acid. That's almost half the fissile fuel. The other half is super easy. But hydrofluoric acid, is it a gas? I'm not sure. Oh, it is. Okay. Also, you don't need to have 3 machines. I'm just using 3 machines. I don't know why. I thought one is going to be too small. We need something bigger. So as I have already mentioned, that is half the fissile fuel. The other half is uranium oxide. Yellow cake has EMC. I guess we use some enrichment chambers. What can go wrong? So first things first, we're going to need 3 more chemical infusers like so. They're getting the hydrofluoric acid. That's good. I'm doing this kind of backwards so that I would know where the machines are going to go. But chemical oxidizers, how do you place them? Like this? Ah, yes. These are the guys who are going to get the yellow cake. And no, unfortunately, that is not for eating. Yellow cake comes from the enrichment chambers, like so. And then we just need to provide them with uranium. And ladies and gentlemen, uranium hexafluoride. It's just that nothing has power. Oh, really? Nothing has power? Let's use universal cables. I was trying to make some energy cells. By mistake, I made some ender cells. So let's use them. And the final part for the fissile fuel is the centrifuge. You're gonna take a bucket of uranium, you make yourself a lead, you attach it to the bucket and turn it around your head. That is low-tech centrifuging. But no, this is the wrong series. We can actually make the isotopic centrifuge. And this is the part where it's going to consume a ton of power, because I think it's going to consume 200,000 RF per tick. Of course, if it is fully upgraded. So this one, we're just gonna have the one. Ender gate? Yes, fissile fuel. In 200 blocks. This guy does not consume 300,000 RF anymore for some reason. It consumes around 30,000 RF, which is fine for us. The problem is that it's making us 256 millibuckets of fissile fuel per tick, which is quite a bit. We can never burn that high. But these are not the tricky parts. I just noticed something very weird. So we do have a polonium pellet singularity, correct? It's not much. It's like 3 per singularity, but you need a few thousand singularities, maybe 2,000. I don't know. But just for argument's sake, let us say 2,000. What is going to happen? You're going to get a bucket of spent nuclear waste per polonium pellet. So getting rid of the waste is gonna be the difficult part. I mean, the way that you would normally get rid of the nuclear waste is that you don't convert polonium into polonium pellets, you convert it into antimatter. That gets rid of the entire waste. Correct? Now I have to store the waste and I'm not really sure how to do that. We just have to spam barrels and I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm just making a frame. I just know that the bottom dimension is 9 by 9. The rest, I don't know. And honestly, I don't think it matters. Considering the fact that we are limited for water, I think we're going to need a ton of ports. Maybe a ton more. So maybe we can have a checkerboard pattern like this, maybe. And we're just gonna put a tank on every single hatch. Don't quote me on this, but I think each fuel assembly is going to allow you to burn 1 millibucket of fissile fuel. So if we have 54 of them, we can't go more than 54 millibuckets. We can't cool it down anyways. Also, this is the important part. The reactor has to be literally in one chunk, together with the waste. Nice. We have a reactor. Our maximum burn rate is 45. Did I miscount? Oh yeah, I did miscount. Okay, yeah. It's 45 of them. I'm not really sure if there is any merit of having pipes or not. We should be able to just place down the tanks. Because, you know, they do auto output. Oh, and by the way, just in case you're curious, the way that they output is just right-clicking. Now it's outputting. If this doesn't work, we just go with a ton of pumps. So we're going to have an input hatch for inserting fissile fuel into the reactor. We're going to have an output hatch for waste and one output for steam. We don't really care about the steam, so we're gonna void it in a trash can. The waste is the part that we do care a bit. So how do we want to do this? I'm tired of bees. I'm not sure if we can keep up with the heat, but let us have 2 PRCs for waste. They have actually changed the recipe so that you do require a PRC in order to get polonium. Otherwise, you're going to need a solar neutron activator, which in a cave doesn't make much sense. So the EMC link is going to take care of your sulfur. Here is your power. You need water, right? Yes. Or honey. Also, just in case you're wondering, you can copy and paste the settings from the tanks too. But here is your water. That is good. It's not working because it doesn't have polonium. How do we extract the polonium? Do from the front. Yes. So that takes care of polonium, the gas. Now we need to take care of the pellets. And I guess the waste can go down from here. The spent nuclear waste. Very cool. We're almost done. It's just that there is a very high chance that it's gonna explode. It's a bit of a dire wire, but I think we're good. Except I did not think about the fuel, but it's fine. So let us give you some nuclear fuel for the moment, some upgrades for the machines, and that should be it. Let us put it on 1 millibucket per tick. Good. Water is good. It should have been. Waste is good, and we are getting polonium. For getting rid of the waste, I really don't have that many ideas, but we should just spam radioactive waste barrels. That's it, I guess. They do get rid of the waste over time, but I think it's like 1 millibucket every minute, which obviously is not that great. Also, another question is, can we do some entangling? The thing is, the centrifuge does not accept anything from the top because the top block is fake, and I don't want it to be visible, so maybe we can do something like this? Yes, we can. You just need some power. And what we want you to do is that we're going to have another entangled block. Because I did not think this through. We don't have space for piping. But we can take this hatch, maybe, and hook it up here. Does it go in? Yes, it does go in. Okay. So let us try this a bit more. We go to 5 millibuckets per tick. Water is keeping up. That's good, I guess. How's the waste? Waste is also good. I just want to make sure that nothing is clogging up. So water is good. We go to 10. Yeah, this is very slow. Although it's dividing it, so maybe we can go higher. 20? How's the water? Water is good. I don't like it when it's yellow. We go to 18. It's still yellow. 15? Yeah, now it's good. And by the looks of that, we already got 1 polonium. Yes, we got 2. Nice. You need to click all of these, but we are fine and operational and nothing is getting clogged up. Even the water is fine. Something that I'm not really sure if you can see it in the video or not, but it seems only 5 of the valves are active. The rest of them are not, because you can see flowing water. At least I can. So what if I go to 25 millibuckets? Yeah, now more of them are active. Okay, then we know what to do. Can we go to 40? Yeah. I think as long as it's not red, it's fine. It should not explode. For the moment, I just keep it at 20, just to make sure that everything is fine. Like this one, which is not fine. We're getting too much nuclear waste. You have all the upgrades. What's wrong with you? Because I went to like 50 or 60, that's why it got full. And yes, we are getting waste, but it's dropping. So if we have like a stack of barrels, that's gonna get rid of every single ounce of waste fuel. So I have run into another issue, and that is the supply of fissile fuel is not keeping up. What are we missing? Sulfuric acid. You know why? I know why, because it's just extracting one item and it's putting it inside the first chemical oxidizer. So if we want it to be good, we need more connections. Exactly. I had to make a very few minor adjustments and I think now everything seems to be fine. There was a slight boo-boo that I made, and that is you cannot entangle a block. You have to use a quantum entangler porter. So now we're getting a decent supply of fissile fuel and everything seems to be operational, and we have 33 polonium pellets. At least now I should be able to get my MekaSuit. Oh, and by the way, for the sulfur thingy, I was like, yeah, let's use a logistical sorter. It does have a round-robin functionality. Since this is going to take a bit of time, let us order some induction matrices. We need it for the energy upgrades anyways. So, the helmet, chest plate, legging, and the boots. We can get rid of the garbage armor. The helmet is fine. So now that we have this, what kind of upgrades do we want? We need to have this thing, the modification table. The modification table does require power, so there you go. And now let us get some modifiers. Energy until a maximum of 8. I need bronze? It has EMC, I'm not gonna craft it. We have 4 armor pieces, so we should make 32 of these guys. Or we can just shift. I'm not really sure about lasers, but for the moment we don't need that. Radiation, we're fine. The reactor is safe. I'm a professional. That is for the tool, I don't like it. For refinement. What? Oh, it's like fortune. Okay. Actually, it seems there are a few upgrades for the tool. Maybe we make it later on. Vision enhancement. I can cook for myself. Thank you. This is important. Charge distribution. Well, actually, we have wireless power, so maybe it's not that important. I like this one. Locomotive boosting. And the rest of them I think are not going to be useful, except the geothermal generator. We can have a Bacta tank with lava and have some fun. Oh, this takes time. I forgot. Now that we have a decent armor, I thought to myself, let's do some enchantments. We shall have a sword with sharpness 5, knockback 2. This one is garbage, bane of arthropods. Also, can we get some unbreaking? Somehow. I'm not gonna enchant the MekaSuit because that looks just really bad. I think it's easier to enchant swords. Smite. But looting. If I mix it, oh, you still get the sharpness. That's good. We don't need the rest. Also, I was under the impression that the locomotive thing is going to be incredibly fast, but it's not. But it does stack up to 4, so maybe we should have 4. It's really not the best. But yeah, I just remembered. I made some flasks. Now it's good. Yes, we are finally at the Nether, and I'm gonna take my revenge. Where is everyone? Hey, you. I kind of figured nobody can hit me. Interesting. That means death can take longer. A lot longer. Anyways, while I'm taking my revenge, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye. Just a very small point, I just remembered for the leggings you have to activate it. So now it's super fast, and I'm really happy with it. And just in case you're wondering, the whole reason that I'm back is that my ME system is not chunk loaded. Yeah, much better. Who really needs a train? This is amazing. Anyways, bye bye.